Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So, I'm finally going to touch base on this, and that is the Ben Simmons situation. Ben Simmons potentially coming back this upcoming year and turning his career around. I've seen a lot of people talk about this. Oh, Ben Simmons is going to turn his career around. Ben Simmons is going to do this. He's going to be an all-star. I've seen all kinds of takes so far about Ben Simmons and the Brooklyn Nets and what they're going to do. And I kind of just want to give my own opinion on it because I'm just going to keep it a buck. I don't hate Ben Simmons, okay? But the fact of the matter is last year did not look good for Ben Simmons at all. It was actually really, really bad. Ben Simmons, statistically, was arguably one of, if not the worst basketball players in the league last year. You know, I understand a lot of it was mental, a lot of it was physical. The mental thing has always been a thing for Ben Simmons, as far as shooting the basketball and his confidence and all this other stuff. I am hoping and praying that Mikal Bridges and everybody else on that roster can at least instill some confidence in him to shoot the fucking rock this year. I mean, I don't think anybody's expecting Brooklyn to make the playoffs. If they do, great, but, you know, I would assume expectations are not astronomically high for them. This would be a great year for Ben Simmons to try to take a step forward in some department, whether it's shooting, confidence, whether it's free throws, something shooting-wise, whether it's mid-range jumpers. I don't know what it is, but this year would be a very good year for Ben Simmons to try and take this upcoming season to just improve drastically on something. Because last season, man, if you watched Ben Simmons play, it was kind of concerning. Like, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, there was things that Ben Simmons used to do well in, like, his last year in Philadelphia that last season just did not look good at all. Like, there was even times where, like, you watched Ben Simmons play and it was like he forgot how to dribble a fucking basketball at times. You know, the finishing is around the rim was not what it used to be. Even the defense was not what it used to be. He couldn't even, there was times, like I said, he couldn't even dribble the fucking basketball. So I'm like, yo, like, what's going on with Ben Simmons? Then we find out, you know, he had the back injury. I kind of thought it was bullshit. I'm like, yo, what are the odds that this dude is really injured, right? After all the stuff we saw in Philly, then he comes into Brooklyn. Oh, now he has another injury. Like, it was very, very hard to find anything Ben Simmons was saying or anything that was coming out of his camp to be believable. And now that Ben Simmons is 100% healthy, end quote, okay, and is going to play this upcoming season, all of a sudden everybody's back on the oh, Ben Simmons, the you know, all NBA defensive dude, Ben Simmons, the all-star, Ben Simmons this, Ben Simmons that. And I think to myself, you know what, if Brooklyn can become a playoff team, that's good. You know what I'm saying? If they can even be a play-in team, they might be in the East, because the East is not incredibly deep. If they can be a play-in team, I think that's a win for them. Maybe if they can make the playoffs as an 8th or 7th seed, I don't know. But it's just the idea, their team right now, if I were going to, if I were the coach of their team, their starting 5 for me right now would probably be like Spencer Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges, Ben Simmons, Nick Claxton, and I don't know, Cam Johnson, and whoever they decide to play at the 2. Okay, I would almost argue you could run a lineup of Ben Simmons at the point guard and Spencer Dinwiddie at the 2, kind of like what Dallas did with Luka Doncic at the 1 and Spencer Dinwiddie at the 2 when he was actually in Dallas. Like, Brooklyn has a lot of options this year, and I would love to see nothing more than Ben Simmons return to all-star form. But the thing is, like, there's so much talent in the NBA that has come up over the past couple years, just the last 1 or 2 years alone, okay? Like, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, you know, there's just so many guys that are, like, bona fide all-stars at this point that it's kind of like, even Zion. Like, Zion is a guy that's like, yeah, he doesn't play much, but when he does play, he plays well, and if he can play X amount of games, like, you know, 30 or 40 games, he's probably going to be an all-star. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of guys in the league that it's like, they're talented. Okay, Jaylen Brown is probably going to be an all-star. You know what I'm saying? He's a fringe all-star dude. Jalen Brunson's a fringe all-star dude. Tyrese Halliburton's a fringe all-star dude now. Like, it's just the idea. I think that the idea that Ben Simmons is going to be an all-star level guy ever again is probably out the window. Now, do I think he can be an all-defensive first-team guy again? Absolutely. I think he can definitely do that again because that's the one part of his game that doesn't seem like it fell off a whole lot. But it's just the idea when it comes to being a bona fide all-star, Ben Simmons would basically have to come out and backpack this team. And like really get them to the playoffs almost exclusively by himself. And I know for a fact that Brooklyn is not going to give him the shot attempts that they're going to give Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. I just know that's not going to happen. Ben Simmons has had too many question marks about him. And not for nothing, but I think Mikal Bridges is a better player. I even think Cam Johnson at this point, at the current point in time, is a better player. Cam Johnson's not afraid to shoot the basketball. So I just think to myself, like, is it one thing to be hopeful for Ben Simmons that he's going to become a better player and get back to what he used to be? Absolutely. But the problem is, even if he gets back to what he used to be in Philadelphia, a guy who can score 20 a game and dish you, get you like 7 rebounds and maybe dish you 10 assists or 9 assists a game or give you 21, 9, and 9, I still don't think that's enough to make you an all-star. You know what I'm saying? Only because you've got other guys who are in situations where they're like the main marquee guy or they're getting more shot attempts and stuff like that. Like, I don't think Ben Simmons is going to average 20 points per game. And so long as he doesn't do that, it's going to be very hard for him to be an all-star. And then on top of it, it's like you look at their team record and stuff like that. Do I think Brooklyn has the ability to be a solid team if Ben Simmons can get back to even a fraction of what he was? Yes. Brooklyn's actually a team that I'm kind of like sleeping on this year. I think Brooklyn's a team that's going to perform a lot better than people think. And mostly because Ben Simmons is coming back 100% healthy. But I think the delusions of grandeur that people have, that he's going to be like, oh, he's going to go right back to being Philadelphia Ben Simmons, I just don't believe that. I feel like he's not going to get the same opportunity in Brooklyn that he had in Philadelphia. You know, we're talking about a guy in Philadelphia who had the opportunity to bring the ball up the floor every fucking time. Now, they may let him do that in Brooklyn, but they also have Spencer Dinwiddie. You know what I'm saying? You have Mikal Bridges. You have Cam Johnson. These are guys who are going to get attempts. You know, they're going to get shots to bring the ball up the floor. Maybe not all the time, but, you know, you're going to give Mikal Bridges his touches. You're going to let Mikal Bridges take probably 20, 25 shots a game because he's that fucking good, okay? After what we saw last season. Hopefully that was not just a fluke, but Nick Claxton's going to get touches. I think the best situation for Ben Simmons right now in his career is probably just to play a Draymond Green type of role. Like, I'm just going to call it what it is. Like, he's at a point in his career where he's never going to see the type of money that he saw in Philadelphia ever again. You know, teams are not gonna pay him $33 million a year to be a guy who is afraid to shoot the ball. Yeah, he's a great defender, decent playmaker. Hopefully he can improve and get back to what he was around finishing around the basket and stuff like that, because even that last year was, like, horrendous. Even statistically, it was not good. So I just think, like, we need to pump the brakes a little bit on Ben Simmons. Do I think he could be like a real decent piece for them? Yes. But he's a guy that's probably going to give you like 8, 8, and 8. You know what I'm saying? 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists a game. Maybe he comes out, gets you a couple steals. I think he could even be the point guard for them. But the thing is, it's like, you would have to rotate between Spencer Dinwiddie and Ben Simmons. I feel like, yeah, early in the game, you can go to Ben Simmons and let Ben Simmons run your offense, and you'd be fine with it. And he would be probably defending the best player on the floor at the point guard position most nights. I like the idea that Ben Simmons is interchangeable. He can play defense on 1 through 5. So, honestly, like, Brooklyn's going to have really weird lineups all year long, being that Ben Simmons is back, and he's the best defender on that team, I believe, outside of Mikal Bridges. they're probably going to put Ben Simmons on the best defender or best offensive player night in and night out because he's that good at defense. But he's a guy that I don't think is going to be, I think he's going to be a solid piece. I think he's going to be a Draymond Green type of piece. Do I think he's going to lead the team? No. He's going to play a Draymond Green role. Like, that's what I think he's going to do. He's going to bring the ball up the court, give you 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists a game, maybe a couple blocks, maybe a couple steals, and that'll be good. That'll be good enough to, you know, maybe even get him a max contract again someplace else. But it's just the idea. Ben Simmons right now, I don't think he's ever going to return to the Philadelphia Ben Simmons that we saw where he's out here scoring, getting to the paint. You know, like I said, this year would be a great year for him to take a chance to improve on shooting somewhere, whether it's the free throw line, mid-range jumpers, three-pointers, bank shots, I don't know, work on a post game. Like, this year is like the next 2 years, Ben Simmons has to show the rest of the league that he's not a slouch, essentially. Like, if he wants that big payday ever again, if he wants to be a max contract player ever again, which I kind of think the odds of that are few and far between, if he ever wants to be that guy again, this year and next year, he's really got to show NBA GMs that, like, he's still Ben Simmons. So, I don't know, man. It's weird to say, but I don't think Ben Simmons is going to be as good as people are predicting. I think he'll still be good. I think he'll still be a solid player, but I don't think we're going to see all-star level Ben Simmons, all NBA second, all NBA first team Ben Simmons. I do think we'll see all defensive first team Ben Simmons again at some point, but you know, it's going to be on a roll where he's playing like Draymond Green. And it's actually pretty funny because I was going to make a video about this, about guys who will probably end up on other teams by the time their contract's over or when other guys retire. And Ben Simmons is the one guy that I think will end up on the Warriors at some point in his career because he can play the Draymond Green role. Draymond Green, I think, is going to decline at a faster rate than a guy like Steph Curry or even Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins. And when Draymond Green decides to retire or is just not what he used to be, you could plug Ben Simmons into what the Warriors do and he would be perfectly fine. Like, they could continue their dynasty in a way. So, anyway, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.